Casual here. The meta build for the Pyromancer is the Acari Ash Blast build that can wipe entire rooms of enemies in seconds. It is an incredibly powerful build, but it can be very squishy and hard for the casual player to run with. So I've come up with my version of the build that still puts out top tier damage, but is tanky enough for anyone to run. Let's get into it. The typical speedrun builds for the Acari gear set are Firepower Tree, which pick up cooldown reductions for Ash Blast, reducing its cooldown to around 10 seconds, buffs to damage against enemies afflicted with Ash, including Ashes to Ashes, which adds vulnerability, and Hot Situation for its anomaly power buff. The challenge with these builds is that, particularly while you are grinding for gear, your survivability is pretty low. My build is more of a hybrid build which picks up plenty of buffs to cooldowns, survivability and anomaly power. Cooldown reductions come in the form of Marble Orchard for Ash Blast, Warm Up for Heatwave, World Ablaze for Overheat and Wildfire for all skills. I am picking up buffs to health, armor and resistance, which result in health of 31,400, physical damage reduction of 54.7% and resistance of 20%, before any buffs and mods. Finally, I'm picking up a 30% buff to anomaly power through 5 Archmage, 10% through 2 Gifted, and a further 10% through Distant Flame. This results in a high base anomaly power which synergizes well with the Acari gear set bonus. Given this gear set bonus, it should be no surprise that I'm using Heatwave to trigger the AP buff, deal damage, and through the mod Burnt Out apply a debuff to enemies. As with most Acari builds, I'm also using Ash Blast and Overheat to deliver huge AoE damage. The key stats to use this build are anomaly power to buff your skill damage, cooldown reduction so that you can use your skills as often as possible, and skills life leech to help with your survivability. Status power is also an option as you'll be applying burn through Heatwave, but this rarely makes a difference as trash enemies die too quickly for this to be a factor. There are a few key mods that make this build work. Master Consumer allows Overheat to work with both Ash and Burn status effects, and when both are present the damage increased by a whopping 150%. Apply Burn through Heatwave, then pop Ash Blast and Overheat for some big damage. This damage is buffed even further through Burnt Out and Ashen Boost, while the cooldown on Overheat is cut in half by the mod Detonator. One mod that I am missing for my build is Death Sentence, which comes from the Torturer's Mask, a piece that has never dropped for me. This further increases damage to enemies afflicted by Ash Blast by 30%. Even missing this, I am running CT15 golds in comfort, but it would definitely be the icing on the cake. As we know from the gear set bonus, hitting enemies with Heatwave increases our AP and thus our damage output massively. So in order to increase the effect, I've picked up Fire Tsunami and Tidal Wave. You could pick up Ride the Wave as well to add another Heatwave to each cooldown, but it doesn't fit in my build currently. Survivability is provided through the mod Blacksmith, which can stack to incredibly high levels, as you can see here after it's procced. You can also see how high your anomaly power gets through the Acari gear set bonus. This, coupled with my high health pool, ensures that staying alive is not a problem. You could also run Damage Absorber for a flat armor and resistance buff, which would not provide as much top end armor, but has the advantage of always being up. For my final mods, I picked up Power Assimilation and Anomaly Echo to buff anomaly power, and the reliable Captain Hunter. There are some other mods that you could pick up that would work well with this build. Ash Increased Range allows Ash Blast to impact on the entire room. Empowerment increases the base damage of Ash Blast. Cinders is an option if you don't have Master Consumer, while Phoenix Force buffs your AP even further if you need it. Similar to Blacksmith, this can result in some crazy anomaly power numbers. For my guns, I'm running Death Shield with Shadow Comet and Fortress, a Tactical Assault Rifle with Shadow Comet and Death Chains, and my sidearm with Clip Combustion and Moaning Winds. I prefer running Death Shield this way rather than with Moaning Winds, as it delivers great self-healing for when you're in a tight spot. My Tactical Assault Rifle delivers 400,000 single target damage with 1 bullet, and my sidearm 500,000 AoE damage every 8 seconds. A lot of weapon swapping, but a very effective combination. With every class there is a meta build, or in this case a gear set. The build is by far and away the strongest Pyromancer build out there and makes getting CT15 golds a walk in the park. Apply Heatwave to boost your anomaly power, debuff enemies and do damage, then pop Ash Blast and Overheat to finish them off. Weave in Moaning Winds into your rotation to up the damage to another level. Until next time, casual out.